for the Jones family.
It was quite an experience. I didn't play for the Jones family though.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they did not own the team. That's right.
That was after me.
That's right. They bought the team afterwards.
For the Murchison.
That's exactly right.
Clint Murchison. But I tell you, it was a great experience for me to be a Dallas Cowboy. And the only thing that was different a little bit for me was coming from the Northeast, from Pittsburgh and going down to the deep South down to Dallas. I was a little apprehensive, so to speak, because I didn't know what to expect because of the climate, the racial climate, and things like that. But it turned out to be a wonderful experience for me.
Did you prefer?
I'm still living in Dallas.
Yeah. Did you prefer playing in Dallas or in Denver?
Obviously, Dallas.
Yeah.
I had a very short stint in Denver. It was a good experience for me, just from the standpoint of seeing the way it was being done from a different franchise, but. My heart and my dreams were when I got drafted. When I was coming out, I thought we had two expansion teams coming into the league: Tampa Bay and the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle had my rights, and I tried through the media and whatnot to discourage them from drafting me by saying that I didn't want to go to Seattle. I don't want to be behind the expansion. I did all these things, and my agent and I came up with it, and it worked. I guess.
Yeah, you didn't go.
I ended up in Dallas.
Which guy hit you the hardest in your entire career? Do you remember one lick that was just like, oh man, that I'm going to feel that for the next couple of days? Was there one guy that just plastered you?
My mother.
As well as she should be the one.
That was the hardest hit I ever got in my life. I can't remember just one guy in particular. I was always very aware, should I say, of the linebackers. We were in the division with Harry Carson, Lawrence Taylor, and Carl Banks as linebackers, and as a running back, we had to. That was our focus when it comes to blocking guys, and obviously those linebackers that they had were very very aggressive guys and Hall of Fame guys, and if you weren't careful, they'd hit you pretty good. So I was always aware of those guys and where they were at all times. But I can't remember one guy in particular. But I did get hit pretty hard. But it was a defensive lineman, believe it or not, that got me. And but I forget. But
they hit you so hard you forgot who it was. Tim Brown, how about you? Who gave you the best lick, Tim Brown? Do you remember?
Napoleon Kaufman used to tell me that. And he's about the same size as Tony. It wasn't a hit. It was these big guys falling on him. 300 pounds falling on him. My rookie year, I got hit by Ronnie Lott. And, being a senior at Notre Dame, Ronnie was so great. You always paid attention. Oh, my God, Ronnie Lott. And all of a sudden, I'm playing a game up in November. Never will forget this. And I had a seam route. And at the start of the play, Ronnie was down in the slot on the other side. So I was like, great, he's not going to be in the
right.
middle part of the field, so I'm going to be great. And Schrader went, blue 18. And when he went to the second blue 18, Ronnie started to shift.
You went, oh, man.
and the way the count went, by the time we went blue 18 HUD again, Ronnie was in full, and Schrader wasn't one of them quarterback who would look off a deep. So he's staring right at.
Right, yeah, he knows where it's coming.
And
he's licking his lips. Ronnie Lott's licking his lips. He's got you lined up.
Sure enough, he threw the ball to me, man, and I just said, okay, just your hand is going to be coming off here, but just just hold on to the pass. And certainly he knocked my helmet off, and I just remember clutching the ball with both arms like it was a baby or something. But I held on to the ball, so I got a lot of kudos from the boys. But that was probably
you felt that one.
Oh yeah, that was one I'll never forget, no doubt.
We are visiting with Tim Brown and Tony Dorsett, a couple of Heisman Trophy winners. You had quite a college career, Mr. Dorsett. In fact, you had a couple of games against Notre Dame that were pretty noteworthy.
Couple. You gotta say 4.
A couple, 3, 4,
Yeah, I have a lot of fun with Tim and anybody else that I see from Notre Dame because of the fact that, through my career, my 4-year career, I ended up setting the NC2A record for the most yards against a common opponent.
Yeah.
And that common opponent just happens to be the Fighting Irish.
Coincidentally enough.
As I was telling some of the guys upstairs, one of the reasons why I was always geeked up to play against Notre Dame was the old story that how, Tom Pagner went to Air Parsegan after I visited here and said that I was just a skinny little kid from Alabama that would never make it as a major college running back. And that one of the reasons, see, I was, as a freshman at Pitt, I was only 155 pounds.
Right.
So a lot of schools recruited me as a defensive back. Yeah, I was an All-American running back and an All-State defensive back. And so ND wanted me to be, my dream was to be like my 4 older brothers, to be running back. I wanted to be a running back first.
Right.
I had to try the running back. And ND wanted me to come in and you're gonna be a defensive back first. And I was like, nah, I wasn't buying that story. But anyway, it's good to be back here, and it's good to see the people are receiving me with open arms and not being real mean and cruel.
Despite the fact
that all those yards I put up against the Fighting Irish.
Does that record still exist, by the way?
I think it actually does.
I mean,
yeah.
I think that's one. It's like 750 something yards. I think it was over my career.
Wow.
Playing against Notre Dame.
Wow. That's amazing. That's
That is
awesome.
amazing.
Back to the NFL for a quick second. Best and worst stadiums to play in. What's the best and then the most hostile stadiums of any stadium you guys played in the NFL? Tony, you first.
Well, I tell you, I'm sitting next to this guy here, man. We played in from a standpoint of fans and whatnot. I'm going out to the Raiders, out to play against the Raiders, and not only was the fans pretty brutal on you at times, but it was just to go into that stadium and you never knew what you were going to see. But the people dressed up. I mean, it was like, man, I don't know if it was Halloween or what it was, but they would be dressed up. I mean, they were all in their Raider gear in some ways that you wouldn't even believe. But it was just unbelievable. But they were pretty abusive on you.
Probably you too, Tim, at times.
Did you get batteries thrown at you? You get batteries thrown at you, all right.
We had some water, big buckets of water thrown on us and everything.
Yeah.
And that was ironic that you bring that up, because Coach Landry told us to, guys, keep your hats on, meaning keep your helmets on at all times, because there are going to be some projectiles coming.
Really?
And there were, but I didn't get hit with anything. But that in Philadelphia from the standpoint of Phillies fans are not only brutal on you verbally, but the stadium, the old Vet Stadium, that turf was one of the worst turfs ever.
Yeah.
Really? You agree, Tim?
Ever.
Yeah. I mean, that's when we went there for the
Ended
first
a lot
time.
of careers.
Yeah, in '90, I believe it was. I could not believe how that's where Wendell Davis, the receiver from LSU, he tore both knees in one play in that stadium. So. Kansas City was a rough place for us.
Yeah.
I mean, going there. I love the stadium itself, how the crowd is right on top, but it was just an incredibly difficult place for us to play football for some reason. For 10 years, I think we lost every game there. But, the Oakland Stadium is not the best in the world either. But, Tony brings up that story about the fans. They did a story on them. I'll never forget this in like 2000. And come to find out that most of those folks who are dressing up like that are doctors, lawyers.
Really?
But when you think about it, you think, well, for them to be sitting right here, these are not cheap tickets.
Right.
I mean, these
That's
are not
true.
like they're sitting there. They're right here.
Yeah.
So, these guys are doctors and lawyers. I'm thinking, well, this is what's wrong with our world.
That's exactly right. Absolutely.
That's why we are where we are.
And you had batteries thrown at you?
Well, I mean, no. I mean, they were thrown at the opponents.
So they would throw batteries in
Yeah.
Oakland Stadium. They would throw batteries at the opponents.
Yeah, I mean, I really, in '96, when we first got up there, they were doing it, especially when Marcus Allen came to town.
Yeah.
Kansas City got just belted with stuff. And once we found out about it as players, we had to talk about it. And
Sure.
as the fans, can you not throw batteries
Please stop.
I mean, not something you think you would ever have to say, but it was
Wow.
in Raider Nation, you had to talk about that. So.
Well, it's an honor to have you both in the studio. It's great to see you again, Tim Brown and Tony Dorsett. Boy, what a great honor to have you on the air. And you guys have a great day on the golf course today. Remember, a bad day at golf beats a good day at the office.
No doubt about that.
And the weather's
all
going to
day
be
long.
beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Tim Brown and Tony Dorsett, everybody. It's 8:54.